No! Square-Enix wants to sue you! A company once celebrated for its creativity and innovation is slowly becoming better known for shoving its corporate boot down the throats of its own fan base. And this week, they're being roasted online for rolling out yet another example of dystopian company overreach, a brand new policy that seems less about protecting employees and more about silencing criticism. Gamers are rightly furious, calling this a direct attack on their right to hold Square-Enix accountable for their endless parade of overpriced mediocrity. Forspoken, anyone? Welcome to the brave new world of gaming, where voicing your opinion can get you branded a harasser. That's right, the corporate overlords of remakes and remasters have graced us with their latest Orwellian manifesto, the Group Customer Harassment Policy, because nothing says we value your feedback quite like threatening to police your behaviour while simultaneously pretending to care about your opinions. No, this isn't satire. I'm not exaggerating, and I'm certainly not making any of this up. In fact, Square-Enix, in their infinite wisdom, has even kindly outlined their full intentions for us on their very own company website. Yes, that's right, we can peruse their shiny new list of speech crimes designed to silence gamers straight from the horse's mouth. Welcome to 2025, where the customer is no longer king, but a potential criminal instead. So let's break this down, shall we? First, they butter you up with a bit of faux humility. Your comments are essential to our products and services. Oh, how touching. Your tweets, emails, and YouTube rants are apparently the lifeblood of their creative endeavors. Except wait! What they're really saying is, we only care about your feedback when it aligns with our delicate corporate sensibilities. Dare to step out of line, and you'll be dealt with. Then we get to the absolute pinnacle of corporate lunacy, the ominous list of customer harassment sins. Denial of personality, what does that even mean? Disagreeing with their storytelling choices? Criticizing another soulless cash grab remake? Calling their latest gacha mechanic exploitative? Or maybe it's just this.
Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
On the same list, we have violence. Sure, violence. But does angrily tweeting, "Fix your broken game," count as a war crime now? Probably. Next up, we have defamation. Translation: don't post a spicy meme that hurts their feelings. It's like Square-Enix took a page straight out of Keir Starmer's playbook. Crack down on anyone daring to speak out, no matter how harmless, all while pretending it's for the greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
If they go any further, we'll probably see them labelling frustrated gamers as dangerous extremists. Then we have intimidation. That's code for being a bit too sarcastic in your social media posts. You know, like pointing out that their game runs worse than two-tier Kia himself trying to inspire a crowd.
The return of the sausages.
At this rate, Square-Enix will probably classify your memes as acts of aggression and report you to the authorities so they can awkwardly condemn you in a monotone press conference. But wait, there's more. How about one of my personal favourites? Their advance notice of obstruction of business. Yes, because telling them you won't be suckered into buying another dumpster fire like Forspoken is apparently considered the equivalent of corporate sabotage. At this rate, it wouldn't surprise me if threatening to spend your money elsewhere would be classified as economic terrorism. Still, if you are tired of paying top dollar for mediocrity, now's your chance to grab thousands of amazing games at unbeatable discount prices by purchasing games for next to nothing through my affiliate links. You're not only scoring great deals, you're directly supporting my voice and freedom to speak openly about the gaming industry. Every purchase helps me bring you more honest, no-nonsense content, so why not upgrade your library, save some cash, and back independent creators all at once? It's a win for you and a win for me. Anyway, let's continue to poke fun at modern gaming's latest car crash. Square-Enix claims that their ridiculous new policy is there to protect its employees. Really? The same employees crushed under crunch time, whose morale is so low they'd need a mining drill to find it. But no, clearly it's the customers daring to criticise the inevitable buggy release who are ruining everything. The monsters! So, what's the bottom line? Square-Enix wants your cash, not your complaints. Step out of line and they'll slap you on their blacklist faster than they can churn out another overpriced remaster. But hey, at least we know their egos are now patched, even if their games aren't. Seeing as Square-Enix has decided they'll be the ones to define socially acceptable behaviour while ignoring the crunch, burnout and mismanagement within their own four walls that might actually need addressing, you know. I think it's only fair that we dissect their latest lecture further. After all, we wouldn't want to offend our gaming overlords. In order to keep us in line, they've generously decided that they can cease providing support services or products to anyone who rubs them the wrong way. Translation: don't like our game? Complain too loudly? Congrats! You've unlocked the exclusive No Help For You achievement. Enjoy troubleshooting that buggy mess you paid full price for, peasant. But wait, it gets better. If your criticism reaches the dizzying heights of egregious or malicious, definitions are conveniently left up to their imagination, not yours. Square-Enix won't just block your emails, oh no. They'll send the police and lawyers. All because you dared to call their NFT venture a scam on Twitter, and that now qualifies as an international incident. That's right, these idiots jumped on the blockchain bandwagon just as everyone else with a functioning brain was realising it was a scam. Bravo, Square-Enix, truly cutting-edge decision making. Basically, they stuck some JPEGs on the blockchain and wanted you to pay actual money for them. Because nothing screams innovation like shamelessly selling glorified clip art under the guise of gaming. Square-Enix even hyped this thing up as if it were the second coming of Final Fantasy VII, but it spectacularly flopped harder than their Marvel Avengers game. Who could have guessed that gamers don't want to spend their hard-earned cash on soulless pump and dumps? But rather than accepting failure, Square-Enix just doubled down, declaring NFTs to be the future of gaming. The future! Mate, the only future these things have is sitting on the online landfill alongside every other failed crypto project. Meanwhile, fans were practically begging Square-Enix to just focus on making, good games. But nope, the geniuses at HQ decided to prioritise scamming people over fixing the glaring issues with their actual products. Maybe instead of chasing the blockchain grift, they could try doing something revolutionary, like delivering on their promises or not alienating their fan base with draconian speech crime policies, all in the name of protecting the devs. When really, we are the ones who deserve protection from some of the criminals they have employed. Yuji Naka, the so-called legendary co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, has found himself behind bars. Why? Because he couldn't resist the allure of making a sneaky buck through insider trading. Yes, the man who brought you a blue icon of autism decided to dabble in some dodgy stock purchases using confidential information while working for, you guessed it, Square-Enix, the company that's about as organised as a toddler's crayon box. Naka, while working for them, if you can call it working considering their recent output, caught wind of some hush-hush deals. Turns out Square-Enix was teaming up with other developers to create games like Dragon Quest Tact. And instead of, focusing on making decent games, Naka thought, hey, let's get rich quick. So what did he do? He rushed out to buy shares in the company Square-Enix was partnering with, knowing full well their value would skyrocket once the deals went public. Textbook insider trading, folks. Oh dear, oh dear. And how did Square-Enix let this happen? Unsurprisingly, he got caught. The Japanese authorities swooped in and now Naka has been slapped with a 2.5-year prison sentence, a hefty fine of 170 million yen, nearly £1 million in real money, and a reputation as a Sonic guy who went from spinning rings to wearing them on his wrists. Honestly, it's peak irony. A man famous for a character built on speed got outpaced by the law. And as for Square-Enix, this is more evidence that they should spend less time being a clown show and instead maybe focus on what's important. Square-Enix has been hemorrhaging money like it's a competition, losing hundreds of millions thanks to its baffling choices, selling off its Western studios for pennies, botching major releases, and pouring resources into flops nobody asked for. You know, like Babylon's Fall, anyone? The whole thing is a mess. And what's their big focus to turn the ship around? Tackling customer harassment, yeah! Because when your games are failing and your finances are circling the drain, the real enemy is the guy on Twitter who dared ask why your NFT project is worse than a Fire Festival documentary. Priorities, Square-Enix. Top-notch priorities. Perhaps if they focus on making games worth playing instead of inventing new ways to blame their dwindling fanbase for their own incompetence, gamers wouldn't feel compelled to turn on them. So anyway, what even are these so-called customer harassment offences that are worthy of such drastic action? Well, they're vague by design. Exceeds socially acceptable behaviour is just PR jargon for stuff we don't like. Perhaps you posted a critical review, shared a joke at their expense, or pointed out that your $70 game crashes more often than its plays. Congratulations, you're now the antagonist in Square Enix's dystopian nightmare. I guess the idea is that by keeping the definition of harassment open-ended, they can wield this policy like a hammer against anyone daring to hold them accountable. It's the perfect defense mechanism for a company that would rather litigate its way out of criticism than, I don't know, make better games. They can't ride on the Final Fantasy remake trilogy forever, can they? Oh wait. This company doesn't just want your money, they want your unconditional obedience, and if you don't comply, they'll brand you a social deviant and possibly haul you into court. The 2020s, ladies and gentlemen, where buying a game apparently comes with the unspoken agreement to walk on eggshells lest the corporate overlords deem you unworthy of service. Because nothing screams customer first like threatening to call the police on your own fanbase. Among the policy breaches we can be accused of are excessive reprimands, persistent inquiries, and repeated visits. Persistent inquiries? You mean like daring to send a second email after 3 weeks of silence? Because heaven forbid a paying customer actually wants a response. And repeated visits? Oh yes, I'm sure Square Enix is constantly besieged by rabid gamers banging on their doors, demanding answers. Totally realistic. But wait, what's this next gem they've written? They have said no to trespassing by visiting or staying in an office or related facility without permission. Well, that's quite the escalation. Is this even a real issue? Are gamers genuinely camping out in their offices with sleeping bags, angrily stuffing Doritos and Mountain Dews into their mouths while chanting for Final Fantasy 16 patches? Somehow, I sincerely doubt it. This feels more like the plot of a bad sitcom than an actual concern. You will also get in trouble for taking part in unlawful restraint via telephone calls and online inquiries. Now, this one had me laughing out loud. Unlawful restraint through telephone calls. What are they imagining here? Are customers holding their support agents hostage with endless rants about frame rates and server lag? It sounds less like a real-world problem and more like the fever dream of an overworked HR intern. Rather obviously, they also do not want us engaging in discriminatory speech and conduct regarding race, ethnicity, religion, family origin, occupation, etc. So, have forbidden us to do so via their policy. Discrimination is, of course, awful. Clearly no arguments there, but when this comes from a company that happily cashes checks from countries with appalling human rights records, it feels a bit rich. This is the same Square Enix that regularly develops games in China, a country infamous for its shocking human rights abuses and appalling treatment of certain minority ethnic groups. Combine that with their cozy Saudi investments, and suddenly their moral grandstanding starts to look less like virtue and more like convenient hypocrisy. How about sorting out your own virtues first, Square Enix, before attacking others? Still, there's more. They also want to warn us against committing infringement of privacy by taking pictures or making video recordings without consent. So now your unboxing video might land you in trouble. Streamers beware, showing off that collector's edition on Twitch might get you labelled a criminal. At this rate, we're only a few steps away from Square Enix banning screenshots of their games. They also have new policies against sexual harassment, stalking, repeated stalking behaviour. Let's be clear, sexual harassment and stalking are absolutely unacceptable, no question. But it's hard not to notice how Square Enix has lumped legitimate issues like this in with harmless nonsense such as persistent inquiries. It's a classic corporate tactic. Bury any real concerns under a pile of absurdity so that they can justify their overreaching bullshit. Then there's Square Enix's undue demands policy, perhaps magnum opus of its customer is always wrong doctrine. The first undue demand they take issue with is unreasonable changes or exchange of product or requests for monetary compensation. Translation: if we sell you a broken, buggy mess, don't even think about asking for a refund or replacement. That's your problem now. They're essentially preemptively declaring that their games are beyond reproach. You're paying for our vision, not functionality, you ungrateful plebs. The audacity to demand your money back after we bamboozled you with flashy trailers and a disappointing final product. How dare you! They are also forbidding you from asking for an unreasonable response or requesting an apology from their employees or partners when you feel dissatisfied with something. Oh no, imagine the horror of being asked to apologise. Square Enix is so fragile that they've decided that you, the paying customer, aren't even allowed to request a simple sorry for the inconvenience. Unreasonable. Next time, peasant, just accept their thank you for your feedback, we'll do nothing about it email and move along. Going forward, they have also told us that we are not allowed to make what they call excessive requests for provision of products and services exceeding socially accepted norms. Translation: stop expecting us to actually deliver on our promises. Also, who are they to decide what are socially accepted norms? If you brought a game with servers constantly down, is it excessive to expect them to work? If their microtransactions don't deliver your in-game items, is it beyond norms to ask for what you've paid for? Apparently yes. Further to this, we're also banned from making unreasonable and excessive demands for punishment of their employees. So, when someone screws up big time, like leaving your credit card details in a data breach, you're not allowed to demand accountability. Expecting them to do anything beyond sweeping it under the rug is now considered harassment. Excessive demands for punishment? Nah, just fire the intern and move on, right? Heinously, despite all of this coming from Japan, it's all tied up to an international disclaimer because nothing screams, we totally care about your feedback like adapting a policy designed for one country and slapping it on the entire world. The subtlety here is genius. They've baked local laws into the mix to ensure their policy can both be inflexible and vaguely threatening everywhere. The entire thing is a complete joke, a declaration that you, the customer, should sit down, shut up, and be grateful that they let you buy their products in the first place. It's not about protecting employees or setting boundaries, it's about reminding you that Square Enix operates in a bubble of their own superiority. Square Enix has essentially written a policy that makes any form of criticism a potential act of harassment. They've created a laundry list so absurdly broad that merely being frustrated with a broken game could land you on their naughty list. This isn't about protecting employees, it's about shielding themselves from accountability while silencing their fan base. Bravo, Square Enix, truly innovators in corporate fragility. I have to be honest, I'll always adore some of their games. I'm not so smooth-brained that I can't separate the company from the art. They've delivered some undeniable classics, but it's hard to watch them play the morality police card while their own house is clearly in disarray. They're so busy lecturing players about appropriate behaviour that they've seemingly forgotten how to deliver consistent quality or keep their finances in check. Focus on what you do best, Square Enix, making games, not issuing holier-than-thou manifestos that nobody has asked for. But as I said earlier, why settle for overpriced mediocrity when you have the power? You have the power to choose from thousands of incredible games at massively discounted prices. By using my affiliate links via the pinned comment, you're not just snagging a great deal. Every purchase helps me continue to share honest, unfiltered opinions on the gaming industry and beyond. So treat yourself to some gaming gems and expand your collection while making a stand for independent creators. It's a win-win. Or if you want to support me in a more personal way, access my cosplay library and more over on Patreon. And I'll see you all again soon. Decade out.